Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna here. Basically, discussing another topic that is city creation. City creation. Basically, we are discussing another topic that is SBI account. SBI account. Basically, we are discussing another topic that is sorry, India account. In India account, basically SBI account, Amazon account, and after 2 days, basically, earthquake is going to happen in what was the sorry in India. So that is the topic basically. That is in this basically we are discussing the most dangerous topic that is lava creation. In the lava creation, basically, we were discussing about one topic that is whatever stuff basically we are going to do, that basically is done by somebody else. But exactly replica basically up to that level basically they might not have done. But little bit replica basically might be there. For example, I am doing like this. Exactly that basically at that time basically it might not be done basically. I am basically touching this mobile. So exactly replica basically that is not possible. Otherwise basically one of the person told that then why basically the Earth planet basically they have created. There might be some reason. So one of the person told that Earth planet basically is the perfect way basically to generate the energy. So all energy basically are collected from the Earth planet only. So mostly basically Earth planet will not end soon basically. Why? Because there might be many ideas basically which might be coming, and on the base of that basically the many universe area basically might be creating, or basically many power basically might be creating. For example, the 100 child basically which is going to come, they are also going to generate certain level of ideas which is basically dumped into the lava data basically, and that replica basically is already done basically in the planet, other planet basically. So that exactly basically the energy is going to come here basically. So human basically is one robot basically you can say. So one of the person told that if human basically is robot, then why basically we can't control the robot basically. The one person basically told this idea basically from the Earth planet. So he also might be correct basically. But here the thing is basically, if he is controlling the one person basically, so is there any effect basically in the environment basically? That also basically he have to check basically. Because it might possible that from his body some idea basically might be going to generate, and he actually captured his body and he's generating his ideas. So first, for example, if he is implementing this chip basically, this is very dangerous point basically. If he is implementing chip, so he should know basically from his body which all idea basically are going to generate, that basically he can try. That is not possible. That is possible, but that is very dangerous task basically. Do you know why basically? Because whatever energy basically he is going to connect to his body, that he have the information, or basically the another way is, if he don't have that, then basically he should know the other data basically which is inside the body basically. That is the 6 crore blood cells. But that is very difficult basically. Why? Because there is no inform, there are basically many blood cells basically. That blood cells checking machine also basically don't have the information. So then how we are going to collect the going to come ideas? So that's very dangerous task basically he has taken it basically. Because according to current situation basically, 100 crore child is going to come. They are going to connect to certain level of ideas, and that idea basically is going to generate certain level of universal data basically on the base of the certain data basically which is already done. That is the 100 crore child which is going to come, their energy basically is already generated in the one of the planet, and their old age is also basically done. So that data basically is already dumped into the environment basically, which is basically in the processing phase basically. So if he can collect that data, then his basically creation will work basically. But that is very difficult basically. But that is not impossible basically. So before implementation this chip basically, this is very dangerous idea basically. If this will click, then basically mostly earth planet will become one of the asset basically for the universe basically, if this will click. But before that basically he should able to collect the future generation coming data basically. In that basically my generation does not exist because Mumbai has ended my generation. So in that basically just taking as an example, basically like this basically how many generation has ended, that basically you have to collect that basically. So each and every system analysis basically you have to do. So first thing basically what you have to do, if basically I can think up to that level, then the person who created the chip, he might be doing something. He might have thought lots of things, no, basically. He might have thought lots of, because he's a technical technology world, no, basically. Some American person basically had innovated this chip basically. So America is basically very high tech basically group basically. They can think 100 times than the Indian basically. So I am Indian basically. Currently I am in India basically. So see the Indian thinking basically. So one of the person told that the ideas basically which is going to generate from the 100 crore child, that data basically is dumped inside that planet basically. So that planet data basically has inside came to earth planet through certain level of sources basically. 100 crore child is going to come. So process has already started. Process has already started of the, because when you are going to any of the place basically, it will take certain level of times basically to do the adjustment. For example, if you are going in Mumbai basically, so you take certain days basically 1 or 2 days to adjust the Mumbai environment. In that basically sometimes you basically become convert connect to some disease also. That time basically you have to connect to doctors basically. So to connect with the environment basically it takes time. So same way basically the 100 crore child is going to come, their data basically is already came to earth planet, and that data basically required some certain level of times in that time period basically. But that is very risky basically, because if you are doing anything with the universe data na basically, for example if you have, for example if you are touching with the nature na basically, in earth planet also you have got lots of things basically. Lots of things means lots of things basically you have got basically. That is the natural disaster basically. So that is the universe data basically. So that basically you have to be very careful. But to save earth planet basically, risk you have to take basically. And there are lots of risk basically taken by the earth planet basically. So this is also one of the risk basically. So that's why basically American person is in front basically. But if risk has taken and if this has converted to success basically, then you can't imagine the earth planet level basically it is going to reach. So things is what basically earth planet basically 100 crore child is generated. For that basically certain level of ideas are prepared. That is the 10 crore project basically which is created. But here the main thing is that the group who forget the thing basically, that is the 100 crore child which is going to come, their rehearsal basically is already done. So one of the person told that the brain basically are controlled or what basically. Because this 10 crore project basically which is done, that is done by the software industry. And the 10 crore child which is going to come, that data is already done, already rehearsal basically started in that planet basically. And they have basically become child, then young age is passed, then old age is also passed, and they basically died also. Then they died also. That data is already dumped into the earth planet basically. So that data basically is somebody is trying to override basically. But that is very dangerous basically. Not dangerous but very dangerous. Why? Because you are going to touch with the universe data basically. That is going to affect the whole world. Not whole world basically, entire universe basically, which is earth planet area basically. So only earth planet is not going to affect, entire universe is going to affect. That is the earth planet area universe. So that's very dangerous basically. It's not easy basically. But if you are doing that basically, then it's a success basically. Because earth planet basically, lots of time basically the earth planet has ended. That is 102 time, 101 time, 100 time, 98 time, 97 time, 95 time. Like this, basically, our planet is ended. Why? Because our planet has not able to convert himself into asset basically. Asset basically you can understand basically what actually I want to say. One person told that this person is basically asset for the company. Asset means he can convert his knowledge into product basically, and product can become asset. Software industry. One banking person, one of the bank told that basically this person basically can become asset for the bank. That means he can generate the products basically. He can design the projects that products basically. That basically the company basically want to see. So here exactly same way, Earth planet basically can become asset basically in universe, and that is very risky basically. Why? Because you are doing this thing basically. Just now basically I told. Ideas are already prepared. 100 crore child is going to come. Chip somebody has created. That means somebody is going to control the ideas according to his data. And his data means which data he has generated. According to his data, basically the 100 crore child is going to generate. And there basically they are going to create future basically. One of the person told that Dubai is basically a artificial rain basically for they basically give artificial rain from the cloud cluster. So it's India is also doing the same way, no, basically. They are also basically giving the artificial rain only. They are also basically generating the artificial season basically. So whole world basically is doing like this only, no, basically. There is nothing basically new basically here. So lots of people says that the Dubai basically is doing the artificial cloud basically. But India is also doing that only basically. But the difference is India is basically doing through energy basically. That is the ONGC and IPCL and IOC and basically many energy companies basically are there. They are basically helping it. Here also it's artificial only basically. So it's not new basically. So now few news channel basically told that yeah Dubai to basically they are playing with the nature basically. But it's not like that basically. Everywhere basically it's artificial intelligence, artificial season only basically. Everywhere basically. So that was basically the news channel basically. You can say the information lack basically. So that basically not information lag basically. That also you can say the information lag in front of the public basically. That also you can say basically. Because news channel basically displays what basically the public whatever thing basically is going to understand that only basically they display. So public know that Dubai basically is doing artificial season basically, and India is not doing. So in front of public it's like that. So they are also displaying that way only basically. So that basically it's not a fault of news channel also. It's not a fault of news channel also. So here basically we are not discussing that basically, but that should be clear basically. That's why basically I cleared it basically because lots of people says that यार ये है वो है दुबई ने ये किया वो दुबई ने वो किया. So that basically because I exactly remember basically my days basically. Same basically situation is now also because when basically I went to Dubai when I went to Mumbai basically nobody helped Sunil Nair basically into finding the job. Not a single person basically came out to help Sunil Nair in the Mumbai city basically. Because Mumbai city say that basically nobody goes without money basically. But I came basically without job basically. So one of the person told that यार यहाँ पे तो भिखारी लोग भी 1 रुपया लेके जाते. You basically never got 1 rupee also. So that was basically insult basically of Sunil Nair basically. Not insult basically. It might possible that something else basically might have happened basically. We basically can't say anything basically. I went to Bangalore basically. There also basically I have not got the job. So that might be something else basically. So that also basically we are going to discuss one day basically about the job system which is handled by the Bollywood group only basically. And Bollywood groups are handling. Lots of people says that he is a businessman and basically Do you know basically who is that businessman? He is one of the Bollywood character basically. And that businessman basically you can see, yes, basically I can see that business. That is the one of the Hollywood character. So that is also there basically. That also we are going to discuss. That also we are going to discuss in few videos basically. So one of the person told that yeah, then Bollywood वाले कौन है basically? That is also question basically. After this, just now basically 1 or 2 minutes basically I told. Bollywood, who are Bollywood group basically? Up to what level they have the control basically? Up to what level basically they have control basically? Lots of people say that ये businessman देख रहा है, this businessman basically. He is basically that Bollywood कलाकार यार basically. Do you remember that movie basically? Yes, yes, basically that movie, yeah, basically. अच्छा, that movie basically that movie is कलाकार है. Yes, basically he is the actor basically of that movie basically. He is basically playing the role of businessman. So it's a control of money basically. The total control of money basically the Bollywood industry basically. That also we are going to discuss basically. So one of the person told that Sunil basically you have not got the job. You are supposed to get the job basically. So that is different thing basically. So that topic basically we are going to discuss. So here the topic is what? The ideas basically. The cheap idea basically. That is very dangerous idea basically. But one day basically Earth planet have to implement that basically. If Earth planet basically have to stay in the universe basically. If they want to, they also want some control basically in universe basically. They have to do this basically. Otherwise basically there is no option basically. So one day basically you have to do this basically. So one day means why don't basically you start today only? That basically that person basically might have thought. And that basically idea basically might be of some king basically. Because king groups only basically are have the authority to create the ideas. They only have the authority basically. Even the government businessmen also don't have the authority. They only have the authority. Why? Because they are connected with the universe. Universe group basically only knows king family because they are connected with the old people basically, and old people are king family basically. So they don't know Sunil or Nair, they don't know government, they basically don't know businessmen, they only know king family basically. Because idea creation only these groups have the authority basically. So here the cheap idea basically is also one of the king's idea. Who is king basically? That basically we can't track. Why? Because if you search the Google also basically you can't find. Why? Because Google basically also don't have the information. Because Google basically what he display basically. He basically displays what information basically he have. Up to that level only information basically he can display. Everything. Up to that level only information he can display. Up to that level only basically information you can display. If you will write in Google that lava creation 100 crore child basically are going to come from lava. So he will display lava data basically. He will display child data. But the exact combination basically he might not be having basically. And this idea basically. The 100 crore child is going to have going to generate and the ideas are going to come from that planet basically. And somebody has created chip and he is going to dump his idea basically. So that's very, very challenging basically. And he's the challenger basically, we can say basically. He might be challenger basically, but that is very risky. Yeah, basically. You are going to play with entire universe basically. Not only Earth planet basically, but entire universe. Basically. So, but one day you have to do basically. One day you have to do that. For that, basically, it's a huge investment basically. So for that, basically, I will suggest that basically create one island only. In that island, basically, create few human clones which are going to control by your so computers only and softwares only. and check basically what are the things basically. And before that, basically, how human clones basically are created by which computers. That also you have to check. But that is basically not we can't say basically because it's a huge basically you can say idea is required basically. Because 100 crore child is going to come. That universe basically has dumped their data of the planet basically, which they have done long before rehearsal basically. When that person is when this 100 from 100 crore basically 100 crore 1 crore people basically is going 1 crore child is going to die when these that each and everything basically they have dumped the data basically. And ideas are going to connect according to the child age basically. That energy is also dumped basically. And you are going to control that data basically. That only basically I want to say. From chip basically you are going to control what basically. You are going to control the human brain basically. That only you want to do. But that is very dangerous basically, because you are playing with the entire universe basically. But one day basically you have to do, because our planet has ended many times. So whatever person basically, whatever king basically has given this idea, that is perfect idea. But that is very risky idea because it's going to affect the entire universe. Basically. Entire universe is going to affect. And technology side means Chinese, Americans, Japanese. China basically created Japan, and Singapore also is basically created by Chinese group only basically. Because whatever risky task basically they basically don't do directly. They give to China or basically to Japan. Same way USA is also there. USA has also created lots of country basically. In that basically, if they feel that this is a risky task, technology wise, basically technological wise basically, if it's a risky task, then basically they don't do that task because it's very risky. Or basically, it's very dangerous. I will take one example basically how dangerous it is. 100 crore child is going to come. Assume that basically that 100 crore child came. The ideas are dumped into the environment from that planet. The chip group basically came into the picture and they basically started capturing the ideas basically. Sorry, dumping the ideas basically of chip data into their brain basically. Not brain basically, body basically of that 100 crore child. So what are the things going to happen basically? Here the thing is the planet has already dumped the data, but that data basically is not entering. But that data will enter basically. Now here the conflict will happen basically. Which data basically is going to connect to his brain basically, and which ideas are going to generate into the environment basically. That is the challenging basically. That is the challenging task basically also. That is the one of the challenging task also you can say basically. But that basically you have to do na one day, so you have to do only basically because it's a challenging task basically. So you have to do one day basically. So another person told that the chip creation basically is a good idea basically. It's a great idea basically. But that's a risk are there basically. Why? Because it's going to affect to entire universe. Why? Because that planet basically is going to check periodically basically whether my ideas basically which has dumped into the environment basically that is getting generated or not basically, because on the base of that data basically something basically might have planned in universe basically from that planet, and that chain is not going to generate, then basically what you are going to do, that is the stuff basically. That's why basically it's very dangerous. Otherwise basically why basically it's not otherwise basically you do know whatever the thing basically you want to do with the human body basically, whatever thing basically you want to do basically, but chaining purpose basically is. So first the if basically is that person basically is trying to do this chaining system basically, that chip system, Then basically he have to collect that planet data basically. Then basically he have to connect with the satellite group basically. Because some satellite basically are connected with Earth planet. They are only basically dumping the data na, basically. How the data are coming directly to Earth planet basically with the help of satellites. Satellites only basically. So the satellites also basically, and few people told that basically that chip person basically might be playing the role of that planet basically. This might be connecting to the modular coding basically. Previously basically people were doing that coding, this coding variable, they were declaring their variable function basically, they were declaring their, they were not preparing the function, repeating coding was there, this coding, that coding, nobody was preparing procedure, this, that basically. Nowadays the modular coding basically came. In modular coding basically everybody knows basically everything is functions and procedures and objects, everything basically is there. So same ways it might possible that somebody might be trying to create this from that planet data only. That is also possible basically. Yeah? And he might be having the entire data with him of the future which the body is going to generate. That is 100 crore child basically. So there are two possibilities. One possibility is he want to dump his idea. Another possibility is that planet with data basically he might be having, and he want to dump the data in a in a modular wise basically, so that the entire data basically which is getting generated, you can exactly know that basically when that data is going to connect and when that idea is going to connect, and according to the idea basically they can do the government basically and the other group basically the businessman, they can do the next level of planning basically. So it connects to business management basically. So this might be the new technique of business basically, that comes to MBA basically. IITs, IIM basically groups do the business basically. So that connects to banking also basically. Because bank also have to do the investment basically. They have to collect the money from the invest for the investment. So for that basically they will require the time. So that might be also possible. From that chip basically he might be trying to do that also. And possibilities are this also, that he want to override his idea with the universe idea. So each possibility you have to check. That's why basically I had told that basically here any possibilities might be possible. Any possibilities might be possible. Basically. Any possibilities might be possible. So one of the person told that ideas are very dangerous basically. एक आइडिया जो बदल दे आपकी दुनिया, that basically was the, I think that was of Idea Cellular SIM card basically. They have basically given this idea, and that is the real word basically. Somebody has told, but he basically might not have thought up to. He basically might have thought basically, because we can't say basically the advertising group basically up to what level they think basically. That means advertising group means what? If I will take one example, if advertising group basically can think up to this level, then Bollywood groups basically are creating the movies basically. They are creating the theaters basically. They are basically creating the serials basically. Up to what deep level basically they might be thinking basically. From this one idea cellular SIM card basically, they have given this topic basically that एक idea जो बल दी आपकी दुनिया. So it's a one just sentence basically. From that sentence only basically lots of things basically he has told. So here lots of serials basically are there. Lots of movies are there. Lots of documentaries are there. Lots of advertising industries are there. So up to what level they might be thinking basically. It's very dangerous basically. Bollywood industry basically are doing very dangerous tasks basically. Somebody have to control that. For that basically the censor board basically are there. They basically might be having the each and every information. So censor board basically might be who basically. They might be very well educated group basically. Because normal person basically can't control the Bollywood, yeah, basically. They should be well educated. They might be Harvard, Oxford, and they might have done some PhD, VHD in the Harvard only basically, or basically in India also basically lots of colleges are there. There might be some good, well-educated people only basically and handle that basically. Or basically the group basically who might have seen everything practically. Because if you are taking the education, if you don't have the practical experience, that is basically also good. But practically lots of things basically are totally different. But here the one thing is confirmed basically. Some educated group basically are handling the Bollywood censor data basically. Because they are only clearing the, it might possible that basically they are only might be giving the scripts because they are going to do the rework basically. One person told that ये तो पूरी मूवी बन गई, अब इसका जो नुकसान है वो कौन देगा, द लॉस बेसिकली इज गोइंग टू हैपन, यू आर गोइंग टू गिव सेंसर बोर्ड. That type of question also basically we might basically ask to the censor board basically, because if you are rejecting one movie, two movie like this basically question basically might raise basically. So here basically censor board also basically might come into the picture. So that's why basically lots of people might be, that's my thinking basically, that censor board only basically, their group only basically creates the scripts, that this should be script of this movie, and then basically script is given by them only basically. So they are going to reject their script only, that is not possible. They might reject few things basically. Why? Because censor board basically are connected in this basically, nobody is supposed to know this basically, because there are many tasks basically that are very risky basically, that's why basically. So it might possible basically, we basically can't judge 100%, we basically can't judge 100%. So one of the person told that Bollywood groups are also basically doing very dangerous tasks. Same with the cricket industry. And this also basically we have discussed lots of things. So here the new basically what's basically in this topic, that was the chip basically, and that is very dangerous idea basically. I'm telling you basically, it is going to affect the entire universe basically. So one of the person told that if any ideas are basically getting implemented basically without Supreme Court, High Courts basically, and without this idea basically is from USA. So USA Parliament House is there, USA White House is there, their judge basically are there, and their governments are there basically. So they only basically will be responsible basically, if anything is going to affect to universe basically. But one day you have to do basically. If somebody has implemented this idea, that means in this government is also involved. Somebody has came to this idea, that also basically they had done the big level of advertising, that also basically in front of public it has came, that means government is also involved in this basically. Few people basically want to control everything basically, and they want to control the entire earth planet with them basically, so that basically whatever they say that should happen in the earth planet, means they, whatever idea basically they want to generate, that should generate in the environment basically. So that is very risky also, and you have to do also basically. That is also one stuff basically. Risk is there basically, risk is always there in the life basically. If this person basically is going to implement this chip, it's a huge risk basically. See the risk factor, see basically. He is going to play with the universe basically. And USA government also basically approved that basically. That means USA government is also going to play with the universe basically. But risk factor basically are there. But if you can find out few things basically, then basically risk factor basically will be very less basically. If you can find out the energies basically in the environment and the planet data basically from where this idea has came, because they are going to collect the output basically, the ideas basically which we have sent, what is the output of that idea. If they are not going to get output basically, then it might possible that that planet basically might react basically, and the universe also basically might be react, because somebody has created the 100 crore child data basically there, and he might be some universe person only basically. If his basically work is not ongoing basically, then he's going to react basically. He's going to react basically. So that all risk factor basically you have to collect there. Basically. Then if one person, if America like this basically has implemented this idea, then basically they might have thought up to this level basically. That is 100% sure basically. But here one more thing is there basically. If they have not implemented this thing basically, if they don't know that the ideas are coming from these planets, the 100 crore child is going to come, their data is already prepared up to the death level data. Data has dumped to here basically the Earth planet. That means if the base is this, if it has not created up to this level, that means the entire creation basically which you have created now, that you have to modify. Entire creation means everything basically from the scratch basically. You have created petrol, you have created oil, you have created sea water, you have created vegetables, you have created uh, vaccination, you have created medicine, each and everything. Because there might be lots of side effects basically of the medicine, side effects of the each and every human needs basically which you are having basically. But that is the USA basically. If USA basically can think up to that level basically, then if one normal person basically can think up to this level, then basically might have thought this everything long before basically. Long before. I visited Mumbai basically, so I had not got the job. That is different thing basically. So that also basically we are going to discuss basically. And why basically the Bangalore group basically, the software professional basically has not given the job to Sunil. That also basically we are going to discuss in one video. Basically. That would be also one of the good videos. That what might be the reason basically? What might be the reason basically? So here basically again back to our topic basically, that is from personal topic to again to back to this topic. So one of the person told that that's very dangerous thing. Just a minute. So one of the person told that the risk factor basically are there everywhere basically. If you are doing any projects basically, right? The company like TCS, eClerx, this all people basically starts the project. So it is possible that basically that 100% basically the project will be success basically. They also keep the risk factor no, basically. In project management plan, there is one template only basically, which has given the name risk factor basically. So everywhere basically the risk factor basically are there. Everywhere basically the risk factor basically are there. Everywhere the risk factor are there basically. Wherever basically you are going to do any task. For example, I am not getting job. So that is a risk factor for me basically because I am not earning the money. I am not getting the money. My career is going to affect. My future basically family is going to affect. I am not able to do the marriage soon. This all basically is a risk factor basically, which is going to affect basically to me basically, not to you all basically, not to universe, not to Earth planet. So here the thing is, risk factor basically is always there. Basically. So Mumbai has not given me job basically. So that was the risk factor of me basically because I have spent lots of money basically. So that was the risk factor basically. Mumbai has not given me job basically, but there is no risk for Mumbai basically. Why? Mumbai is going to get anything basically. Mumbai will say that basically, भाई बहुत आते हैं और बहुत जाते हैं. They are going to say this only. They are going to say that basically, lots of people comes to Mumbai, and they basically leave the Mumbai basically. That's basically not our headache. Basically. Their chief minister and prime minister basically are going to say this only basically. And the Bollywood are also basically going to say this only. भाई बहुत आते हैं रे भाई. Lots of people comes to Mumbai basically, and they basically leave. So risk factor is not for Mumbai. Risk factor is for the person who comes to Mumbai basically to get the job basically. To get the job so that basically they can earn the money and they can give the contribution to that family basically, to their family basically. So can they can also basically have their normal life basically. They basically comes for that only, no, basically. They are not basically coming for masti vasti basically. Masti basically you can do basically. That is no basically not basically issue basically. But if one person is basically not getting job basically, that means he hurts basically lots of things basically. It hurts basically lots of things basically. That Mumbai has not given the job. And Mumbai means it's India basically because India heart is the Mumbai basically. So that is basically different thing basically that we are going to discuss basically. Mumbai is not going to take risk basically because there lakhs of people basically comes and lakhs of people basically go. So Mumbai basically is not going to take, not going to have a risk factor. Why? Because Sunil Arnair basically has not got the job. So anything basically affect to Mumbai. Nothing basically is going to affect to Mumbai. मुंबई जैसे चल रहा है वैसे ही चल रहा है. Mumbai basically is ongoing as basically it was. But just the effect is Sunil Nair basically has got the trouble. Basically. Nothing else basically. So that is also different point basically. That also basically we are going to discuss in any of the topic basically in this video. Basically. So in this video basically we are talking about the our topic that is the most dangerous topic because Earth planet will exist. Then only Sunil Nair will search for job, this for job, earn for money, will do the marriage, then Sunil Nair generation will start. If Earth planet will not exist, then basically there is no meaning of earning the money, there is no meaning of earning the job, there is no meaning of doing the marriage. So this all basically exist after some time, after when world will exist. So first basically this topic basically. So that world must exist basically. Otherwise basically world only basically will not exist, then basically what you are going to do. If world will not exist, then what you are going to do? That is the topic basically. For that basically lots of R&D center basically need to do the rehearsal basically. That also you can say. So here the topic is what? Here the topic is what? That plant basically has given the idea for the 100 crore child. And that 100 crore child basically is going to connect to this idea basically, which is given to the plan given by the planet. And one person basically is trying to connect his idea to 100 crore child. So that is basically good idea basically. Because one day you have to do that basically. That is basically 100% sure basically. Here basically I can use 100% because एक दिन आपको करना पड़ेगा. So somebody might have told that basically if we have to do basically this 100%, then basically why don't we start? But there is a risk factor because they are going to search the output. If they are not going to get the output, na basically, then see the universe basically what they are going to do. That's a universe person basically. He has implemented this idea basically. But one of the person told that if Earth planet basically don't know this everything basically, that means entire creation basically which has done Earth planet that has wrongly created. The entire Earth planet has created wrongly. Wrongly means totally wrongly basically. The medicines, the creation, the construction area, the water, the God, energies, the nuclear data basically. Everything basically you have to create everything basically. In this nuclear basically, first world war basically lots of nuclear data basically nuclear basically bomb has dumped. So that data you have to that basically data you have to rework. recreate. Second World War also basically nuclear data, basically nuclear bomb was dumped. After that, basically, if you are planning for third world in this war, basically, which is ongoing, in that basically, if you are trying for nuclear, then after correcting first, second, then basically you have to dump for third. Basically. After that, before that, basically, if you are dumping, then again basically you have to do the rework only. Basically. That is first World War, second World War, and this war basically, which is ongoing basically. So nuclear data basically are also basically came into trouble basically. If the creation is not done this way, but Bollywood says that basically the creation has done this way only. Why? Because they have done the advertising also. The rich people basically they are basically doing the stuff basically. Their rehearsal basically are done by the Bollywood group basically. They basically do everything practically. They submit the reports that this is the report, and on the basis of report basically you have to work. On the basis of report basically you have to work basically. So on the basis of report basically you have to work. So you can just imagine basically, yeah, Bollywood groups also basically they are basically not a normal people. They are not given me job. That is different thing basically. But they are also basically you can't ignore that group. Basically. You basically can't ignore the Bollywood group basically. Lots of people says that basically Bollywood wale to sab loafer hai yaar, basically. But that loafer group basically are doing very dangerous tasks basically. They have not given me job. That is different thing basically. That we are going to discuss basically in one of the video. But they are basically doing very dangerous tasks. Basically. They are actually doing the entire creation basically which is happening in the universe basically, that is the earth planet. So they are doing very dangerous tasks basically. So in the Bollywood basically there is one song basically that we will display here. So see the song, listen the song. So this is the song basically, which says lots of things basically. So Bollywood group basically are very dangerous group basically. That also you can say. And lots of people says that that businessman basically that is ongoing basically. He is one of the Bollywood character basically. So nobody is going to ask Bollywood group basically. Who is going to ask? So that is also different thing basically. That is, but that is going to affect to entire Earth planet basically. That is very dangerous thing. So you are basically hiding lots of things. That is not going to work. Basically. So entire Earth planet basically is going to affect for that. Basically. So here basically that we are not discussing because, for example, after this video, lots of people will say that, "Bhai, Sunil, तेरे को कोई मारेगा." Some of the Bollywood group basically will see this video, na, then basically they are going to beat you basically. That how basically you can say that, basically. But that is fact here. If few people basically told that basically you are not getting job, basically this video basically might be the reason basically. But you see na basically, if you are going to implement this chip basically, if that person basically is going to see the output, then basically is not going to get the output, then what would be the risk factor of the universe basically? But if he is basically taking the data of that planet only, then there is no issue. Then there is no issue. So everything should be clear basically. So lots of people say that yes, you are basically uploading very dangerous video basically. So somebody basically might have blocked your number, somebody basically might have blocked your resume, basically lots of things basically might have done basically. But this is for good basically. This is for good video basically. This is for good for future basically. For that particular person only basically, who are basically into this cheap creation. Who are basically the Bollywood industry basically. Because in this Bollywood I have told basically that businessman which is ongoing basically. He's a Bollywood character basically. That businessman he is going basically. He's a Hollywood character. So that's good for Bollywood also basically. But here the main thing is Bollywood groups are also basically controlled by set of experts basically. Because Bollywood groups are just playing the role basically. But they are not doing the task basically. For example, one person told that he is playing the role of doctor basically. He's just playing the role basically. But real task basically is not doing. Task is done by the doctors only basically. He basically is just playing the role basically. But he is basically equivalent to doctor basically. Lots of things basically doctor also basically might not be knowing. That Bollywood industry basically might be knowing. How basically few things basically doctors also might not be knowing. That Bollywood industry basically might be knowing. Because they have saw everything practically. So one of the person told that this video basically is very dangerous video. Because in this basically lots of things basically came into the picture. In this basically you taken Bollywood group, you taken few businessmen basically, but that is for good basically. In that basically if I am basically getting some problem basically, then there is no issue basically. But that is good for basically Earth planet basically. Because Earth planet basically can become asset basically in the universe basically. In universe basically the Earth planet basically can become asset basically. And Earth planet basically nobody ends the Earth planet basically. Because Earth planet basically has ended more than 100 times basically. More than 100 times basically Earth planet has ended. So next basically Earth planet end basically it's not supposed to be. That's why basically. Otherwise basically if you will if that person basically will implement the chip, implement it basically what I can do. Basically. Implement it and see basically what a universe group are going to do. So that basically the thing basically. So here basically the things are like this. Basically. So one of the person told that it's very dangerous topic basically. So एक idea जो बदल दे आपकी दुनिया, that is one sentence basically which is told by the Bollywood group basically. So in serial basically see basically how many basically words they are telling, how many sentence basically they are telling. In the Bollywood, basically serial basically is up to that level. Then basically see the theater basically, see the movies basically. Movie basically up to what level basically they are telling, and they are basically playing the role of rehearsal also. Rehearsal means rich person basically is going to do this task basically within this week or next week basically. So there basically rehearsal basically are done here basically. They are collecting the reports, these, that, each and every, and that basically they are submitting the report to the rich person basically. For example, one person basically is going to come to India from USA or UK or from wherever basically. So they that person basically know that basically Bollywood group basically are there basically. They can basically do half of his task basically. Half of the task means they can filter the half of the time basically. For example, if he's not giving the contract to Bollywood, then basically the task basically he might be doing that might be of 7 hours basically. But if they are giving the task to the Bollywood group basically, it will convert to 2 hour basically. It will convert to 2 hours. So within 2 hour basically his task will get over basically. Why? Because lots of stuff basically has filtered by the Bollywood group basically. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the stuff basically are connected in this video basically. So that's very dangerous video basically. I'm telling you basically. If anybody takes this seriously basically, then it's good basically. Otherwise, lots of people says that एक book में कुछ लिखा हुआ है. I have created one book basically which is connected to the SDLC and lots of things basically. That is good for software industry. But if basically who don't like Sunil or NAIR and basically he don't like the software industry only, then that is basically raddi basically waste basically for that particular person basically. Same way basically it is like this basically. If anybody wants, if anybody will say that basically yes basically yeah, this is a good video basically, then that is basically good for video. That is basically good video. Otherwise basically that is a this is a waste video basically. But in this video, lots of things basically has been displayed with. So lots of things basically has displayed in this video. So in next video, basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic which we have just covered in this video.